praise to Yahweh, Shem Al Shai, Shem Kakada, Shalom to the 144,000 rest elect out there, Shalom to you all. And I'm going to entitle this video, I'm going to try to make it quick. Let's see where the Spirit takes me. I'm going to entitle this video, The First Thing That Goes is the name of the Father and the name of the Son. The first thing that goes is the names of the Father and the Son. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. So this is put up by this brother Assad right here. It's not a brother of mine. 7 months ago, they had recently switched the gospel. They did pretty much a 180 on the gospel. We'll see how much they botched the truth of the scriptures. Anyway, so you can see Ron Dalton completely destroyed an epic live debate. But I really don't want that. But I may come back and just, kind of do a commentary on this. But anyway, just listen. This is the he's opening the intro to the show.
Ron Dalton gets completely, utterly destroyed in an epic live debate. All praise to the Most High, Yahweh, in the name of His only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai. That's the Heavenly Father's true name, which is Yahweh, again, in the name of His Son, Yahweh Shai, who your mama and your auntie called Jesus. This is your brother Assad. And listen, y'all are going to be in for a good one.
Okay, so you heard that. I don't need to bring that back because this was 7 months ago. Okay. So now, let's go over here. Give me a second. Bear me for a minute. I was watching this video that the young elder put up, GMS Truth Be Told 144. He was going into the Prime Minister of Trinidad. What do they call it now? Trinidad and Tobago. Yeah, she ain't nothing but a Hindu. And she looked like hell too. She's nothing but a Hindu that looks like hell. That controls them Hindus, them Elamites. They control them West Indian countries, and Esau sets them up. Anyway, I didn't, I just went here to open up a new tab. Anyway, let's do this here. Give me a second. Oh, Dr. Grundy. Yeah, this guy, you can't eat anything. Anything that you think you eating that's good, it's bad for you. So let's go over here. Let's get the most recent videos where they do an intro. Okay, this is 6 days ago. I got a new nickname for these two guys.
And I appreciate your honesty.
Bebe's kids.
No. What do you mean?
Okay, let's see what they say.
He is believing in a white man's Bible.
Who said that?
Why do you think it's that?
Valentino, what you say?
I don't know if there's going to be.
Good morning.
Here, look at this, brother.
Good evening, Ryan. Anyway, I'm in London.
Valentino, what do you mean it's the white man's Bible?
Well, what's the difference? White people can be saved, according to
Verse
you.
39. Verse 39.
Okay, let me bring this back. I'm looking
It
for
says, and I will give them one
intro.
heart.
I'm looking for an intro. Any baby's kids intro. Okay, let me try this one. Let's see what this is all about.
Okay, we all descend from Adam, and I'm not going to go into diatribe. 1 Corinthians 15, I'll just read it. Verse 22, for as in Adam all die. Every human being descends from Adam. That's the context. For as in Adam all die, not just Israelites, even so in Christ shall all, same all as the one you just read about, all is going to be consistent.
Okay, Hassad, do you believe that non-Israelites can be engrafted into the olive tree that's in Romans 11? Yes or no?
Yes.
So they told the Most High totally took this truth away from them, and we clearly know that Romans chapter 11 is clearly talking about Israelites. Well, not clearly, written in code. I'm sorry. Let me do this. I'm just trying to find an intro. We went 7 months back, and they did. Hassad said, "All praises to Yahweh and Yahweh Shai." Your grandma and your auntie calls him Jesus. I think these guys call him Jesus too. I'm trying to find an intro here. Let me see. Let me try this one.
Hear me?
Yeah, I get you.
Okay. He quotes Deuteronomy 32:8. It's about actual heathen. We agree. Here's my point. It's the next verse. That they should seek the Lord. Who is the they contextually that he just spoke about?
Oh, I see what you're saying. You're saying that.
Okay, let's try this one. I'm sorry. Let's try this one. This is the newest.
Dr. Divine Prospect tunes in to the Genesis Varsity Online Academy specializing in Hebrew apologetics.
And we don't believe that no, he's a doctor. Divine Prospect, and Zion Lex, they're not former members of One West, so they don't have the gospel. I'm not going to say anything bad or good about them. I don't know them that much. I know of them, but they're not. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm all over the place. They did a video last night, like a 7-minute video. Then they did a video that was considerably longer, where they pretty much say, "Oh, we don't deal with One West no more. We don't want to have nothing to do with anybody from One West, but we're now pretty much going to work with Divine Prospect and Zion Lex." And they teach something completely different outside of One West. They don't even call the name Yahweh Bashem Yahushua. Like I said, I'm not going to talk good or bad about him because I don't know him that well. So let me go ahead and
Dr. Divine Prospect tunes in to the Genesis Varsity Online Academy specializing in Hebrew apologetics to talk about Esau, the Edomites, and end-time prophecy. All praise to the Most High.
And that Divine is not a prophet. He's schooled, as he said. This is what he said. He was trained as a he was a part of a theological seminary. I call them cemeteries. So he's going to give you that. Basically, he's an apologist. Maybe he started as an apologist and he became a Hebrew. So
let's go. What's the possibility that Obadiah 1:18 is, because there's examples where the Lord said he's going to destroy all of us.
Okay, good. So he mentioned Obadiah 1:18. So this is going to change. Hey, check the videos. I went to a video that they did 7 months ago. Hassad did, and he opened it with the intro. You heard it yourself. Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. No intros. They didn't mention the Christ or the Yahweh Shai or anybody. But let me bring this back. I'm sorry.
And none will remain in that, because there's example possibility that Obadiah 1:18 is.
Okay, so it says Israelite scholar, shocking prophecy on Edomites or on the Edomites, and I guess was coming up. Matter of fact, he said it, that Divine Prospect is getting ready to come up on deck. So let's just hear what they got to say. But like I said, you notice if you watch enough of these newer videos as of a month and a half ago up until this point, I'll be surprised if they mention Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. I don't think they believe that that's the true name of the Father and the Son. That's the first thing that goes is that name. That's what happened with so-called God sent Comforter. Oh, we don't know the name, but you the Comforter, but you don't know. But the Most High didn't give you the name. Come on now, we know that you guys sold out. We can't prove that.
Because there's examples where the Lord said he's going to destroy all of us and none will remain in that same
Correct.
exact language. What's the possibility that that could be hyperbolic in Obadiah 1 and 18?
Look at the structure, right? So this is what I do all the time, right? And I'm glad you brought that up, Deacon. So can you share, Deacon, your screen, Obadiah 1? Yeah. And I want to share this with y'all real quick.
So that's the voice of Divine Prospect, or Dr. Divine Prospect. And they're going, as you can hear and see, they're talking about the subject is on the Edomites. So I guess he's going to set us straight. So that means that I got to hear it. I got to hear it from them. I got to keep going. Because he's saying, I guess he's going to start saying, well, Edomites can make it. I guess he's going to say the true Israelites are really Edomites and we're going into captivity. And this is what happens, man. When the Most High go into the account of Saul. When Saul, let me do this. This is the same thing that happened to Saul. But the difference is Saul knew that the Spirit left him. These guys don't know it. Ain't that a blip? Let me put it in. Let me throw it in this way. I was just reading the benefits of dandelion root extract, which I had made some. Let me see. Okay, let me do this. God turned his back on Saul. I should have put King Saul. Okay, here we go. Okay, so that's I want to get to the point. Okay, that's 1 Samuel 10 verse 9 and 1 Samuel 15 verse 11. So let me go ahead and take this out. Let me go ahead and see, we saw that the Spirit left these guys. Sakari is basically no more. You know, they still got guys that set up other groups. That was a major, that whole thing got broken up. Just like One West. Could that be a change for the good or a change for the bad? So let's go. Okay, I'm sorry. Let me do this. If I'm moving too slow for you, you ain't moving fast enough for me. I said, okay, watch another video. Because I don't give a shit. Give me a second here. Boom. I don't need that. 1 Samuel 10 verse 9. Come on now. Saul among. Okay, let's go to 9. And it was so that when he had turned his back to go from Samuel, the Most High gave him another heart, and all those signs came to pass that day. I just want to read a little bit more to bring it into context. Okay, so this is what he prophesied among the prophets. So let's go from there to, does it get, okay, 15 and 11. You know what, let me do it this way. Samuel, 1 Samuel 15 and 11. Fifteen, 16, 15, and verse 11. So what's happening to these two guys is the same thing happened to King Saul. He lost the kingdom. So let's just read this now. I may jump up a couple of verses. Matter of fact, I'll do this. Let's see what the heck. Okay, there we go. Samuel rebukes Saul. Saul's disobedience. Let me go ahead and read that. So I got this marked at the 15. We're going to start at the 10th verse, but we're going to come up here. Saul's disobedience. Saul also, first verse, Samuel also said unto Saul, Yahweh sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people, over Israel. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of Yahweh, of the words of Yahweh. Thus saith Yahweh, of hosts or armies, I remember that which Amalek did to Israel, how he, or the Amalek is a people, a nation, but that nation is referred to as a he. Same thing with Israel. So IUIC got it all wrong when they go into Isaiah 45 and 11. I'll go into that. I did a video on that, but I'll go into that another time. It says how he laid wait for him in the way, sneak attack, ambush, when he came up from Egypt. Remember, the king of Edom rejected their brother Esau. Esau had rejected their brother Israel in order to go through the king's highway. So they said, nah, you ain't going through the king's highway, and if you try to, we're going to come against you. And they actually did come against him. It says, so, you know, but we got to love them, you know. Now go and smite Amalek. Oh, by the way, Bibi Nethan, he's using this scripture right here to justify the fact that he's doing what he's doing, because he's calling them the Amalekites. Oh, no, they're not the Amalekites. Yeah, this place is done. This place is done. Stick a fork in this system. Is done. Let me see. Amalek did to Israel how he had laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. Now go and smite Amalek, or the Amalekites, and utterly destroy all that they have, and spare them not. If you look up BBNet and go into the scripture, it'll come. Here's a speech he made. He's reading from this. He's saying, the Lord told us to do this. But slay both men and women, infants and sucklings, ox and sheep, camels and asses. And Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Telem, 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. Now you can count the armies that you're going to fight to know whether you're going up an army that has 10,000, you bring up 1,000, but you can't do a census on the Israelites. You can't count Israel. Let me see how many Israelites is out there. Okay, Judah, you go over here. Benjamin, you go over here. The women, the children, That's a census. And David got punished for that. Okay, 10th men of Judah. And Saul came to a city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. And Saul said unto the Kenites, Go, depart, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them. Those are Edomites. Those are a family of Edomites, Kenites. For ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel and that doesn't mean the Kenites are going to be saved, right? They came up out of Egypt, so the Kenitites or whatever, Kenites departed from among the Amalekites. They said, we're gonna chop these people up, so y'all better get out the way, because you get chopped up too. And Saul smote the Amalekites from Havilah. If you picture a map in your mind, Havilah is east of the Red Sea, which is Saudi Arabia, that area, so you can understand. Currently Saudi Arabia, that desert. If you go to the uttermost east of Havilah, you wind up in Kuwait. If you go the uttermost northeast, you wind up in Iran. You keep going north, you wind up in Iraq. Until thou cometh to shore that is over against Egypt. And he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, which he was supposed to take him out. Said, take out the men, the women, the children, and even the cattle, and utterly destroy all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag, which is the king of Amalek, and the best of the sheep. So he wasn't listening. So guess what happened? Let's come on down to Samuel rebukes Saul. So just like we're rebuking Genesis, the prophet Samuel rebuked Saul. See, we have the power to rebuke and expose. It says, then came the word of Yahweh unto Samuel, saying, it repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king. For he is turned back from following me, and had turned your back on the plow, and have not performed my commandments. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto Yahweh all night, because he loved Saul. They were close. And he knew, hey, once the Most High make a decision, that's it. It says, and when Samuel rose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, he set him up a place, and is gone about and passed on, and gone down to Gilgal. And Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of Yahweh. I have performed the commandment of Yahweh. And Samuel said, what meaneth then this bleating of the sheep? That means they're making that, that sound. Best I can do. The sheep in mine ears, and the lowering of the ox, because he had the cat. He saved. He went against a direct order from the Most High. So anyway, let me do this. King Saul told Samuel, the Lord doesn't give me dreams or visions. Okay, boom, that's what I wanted. So I'm going to take this 1 Samuel 28:6. Actually, it's 28:6 down to 20. I'm not going to read that much, but let me do it this way. Okay, with the 6th verse. Saul in the spirit medium, which is the witch. This is after Samuel had died. Now Samuel was dead, and all Israel had lamented him and buried him in Ramah, even in his own city. And Saul had put away those that had familiar spirits, witches, and the wizards out of the land. But then he went out to consult with a witch. And the Philistines gathered themselves together and came and pitched in Shunem, and Saul gathered all Israel together, and they pitched in Gilboa. And when Saul saw the host of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart greatly trembled. And when Saul required of Yahweh, of the Lord, or Yahweh answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by Thummim. Then said Saul unto his servant, seek me a woman that hath a familiar spirit. So you know the story. You can read the rest of this. It's self-explanatory. So the spirit wasn't with him. And Samuel told him that when we read in the 15th chapter. So I want to go right to the point. That's all. Okay, then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto thee? Now, you got to understand, the spiritual realm has the fourth dimension has two sides to it. It has the negative side and the righteous side. It has angels and demons. So they mirror each other in the spirit. So a witch can summon up, people will say, oh, that was a witch. She was getting her power from the left-hand side, so there's no way she can, raise Samuel from the dead, raise his spirit. And, well, that's a lie. And I'm going to go into that. I'm going to go to the chat, maybe to Google, just to see what Christians say. You're going to break it down wrong. It says, then, let me do this. It says, then said the woman, whom shall I bring up unto thee? And he said, bring up Samuel. And she actually summoned Samuel, and Samuel's spirit came up, even though she was working from the left. Her power was coming from the left-hand side. And this goes over Christians' heads. And when the woman saw Samuel, the Jehovah's Witness say, oh, that was a demon impersonating Samuel. That's what the Jehovah's Witness said. I know that for a fact because they told me. It says, and when the woman saw Samuel, she cried with a loud voice, and the woman spake to Saul, saying, why hast thou deceived me? For thou art Saul. Now, when she summoned up Samuel, the spirit said, oh, by the way, that guy that's covering himself, that's King Saul. So she said, why didn't you tell me that you were King Saul? And King Saul, pushed out all the witches. Go to the first verse. Read from the first verse on down. It says, and the king said unto her, be not afraid, for what sawest thou? And the woman said unto Saul, I saw gods ascending out of the earth. What does it mean by God ascending out of this earth? She saw spirits, angels. because Samuel was in the presence of the angels. And this shows you right here that when a person dies, they don't want to come back. They don't want to come back to this earth. It says, and said unto her, what form is he of? And she said, an old man cometh up, and he is covered with a mantle, a cape. And Saul perceived that it was Samuel, which it was Samuel, and he stooped with his face to the ground and bowed himself. And Samuel said to Saul, why hast thou disquieted me? I'm in my Isaiah 57. First couple of verses. They rest in their beds to bring me up. Why you gonna bring me up? You bring me up out of this. I'm doing good. I'm in the fourth dimension. And Saul answered, I am sore distressed, for the Philistines make war against me, and the Most High is departed from me, and answereth me not no more, neither by prophets, nor by dreams. Prophets, Most High didn't send a prophet to him. He didn't get any visions or dreams. Therefore I have called thee, he was desperate, that thou mayest make known unto me what I shall do. Then said Samuel, wherefore then doest thou ask of me, seeing Yahweh is departed from thee? Didn't he say that earlier? And is become thine enemy. So guess what? Guess what? These two magpies right here are enemies to the Most High. And that includes Captain Tazariak. He's an enemy to the Most High because he's coming against the true prophets of the Lord, which are the apostles. Because Captain Tazariak said, you ain't I'm your apostle, brother. That's a title right there. I'm an apostle. There's only a handful. There's only 4 apostles right now. There's only 4 apostles on the planet. That's myself, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ricard, and Apostle Ramlop. And then you got bishops and you got elders. So I am your prophet. I'm your prophet, all right? I'm the prophet over the nations. We are the prophets over the nations. Jeremiah 1. You're gonna find that out, man. You know how you're not a prophet at this point? Because you can't see the mark of the beast. And you get emotional with the grape thing comes up. So you're not complete. This is just telling you the truth. I was initially mad when you said that. Hey, you're a piece of shit. I was initially mad, but then I said, nah, why be mad? He's a kid. He's just a kid. He's somebody's son. And you're going to find that out, my man. You are going to find that out. And I do hope that you're one of the elect. Anyway, so let's go back to this. Please forgive me for going into the scriptures, but that's what you want, the scriptures anyway. But what happened to Saul is the same thing that's happening to these two guys right now. And Divine Prospect and Zion Lex, they don't have the truth. They know truth. They know that they're Israelites. They know a lot of things, but they don't have the full understanding. I don't know what their take is on whether Babylon is America. We got to find out. Do they believe that Babylon is America? Do they believe that the descendants of the Edomites are so-called white people? We don't know what they know, Do they accept all the 12 tribes? Do they believe Issachar, the descendants of Issachar, the Mexicans and so forth, and so on? Do they believe in the mark of the beast being a microchip? Let's listen on. I'm going long, but, hey, that's how it goes. That's how the spirit works. Now, see, the computer's acting up. Give me a second, y'all. Give me a second, y'all. Let me just do this. Just give it a second.
something I've shared before, but I don't think I shared it here last time. But let me see if I have a better example of that. Let me go to Isaiah, go to Bible Hub, and go to Isaiah 14. And hyperbolic language is also seen in a Memrem Patah stele, right? Where Memrem Patah, who is the son of Ramses II, he had an Asiatic campaign and he took some Israelites, right? And this text says, Israel's seed is no more. Well, that's hyperbolic language. Israel still existed after that. But the seed can mean one of two things. Either number one, he killed enough of them that they're never going to rise up and be a threat. Or number two, he destroyed their sustenance by way of their seed vaults. He pillaged it. He took it as spoils.
I already know where he's going with this. I already know where he's going. Remember, the conversation is Obadiah 1:18,
etc. Right? So that's hyperbolic language. That's an exaggeration of something, and that's used figuratively when you're looking at what's called.
Yeah, hyperbolic is when you add on to it. You know, you tell the truth, but you embellish the truth. You know, you'd say, I had a fight with this dude. I hit this nigga. He spent around 3 times and fell and and went to sleep, you know? You might have had a fight. You get cut up a little bit. You might have hit him, knocked him down. He got back up. You know, I'm just giving you an example.
Poetry, right? So you see Isaiah 4.
So he's saying that we got it wrong. Obadiah 1:18 is poetic. We really ain't going to kill all the Edomites. You really believe we going to burn all the Edomites?
14 verses 1 to 3.
Because these guys are like the Christians. They want to save Esau. They want to save the white man. They're looking for an open door to slave. Not only that they're not utterly destroyed, but they'll be on the right side of the kingdom.
3, right? 1 to 3, this is what we call prose. It's in the narrative form where the sentence goes all the way across, all the way across, all the way across. But when you get down to verse 4, when it says you will sing this song or lamentation against the king of Babylon, you see how the structure changes to stanzas? That's poetry.
What does this take on Babylon? What does this take on Babylon? Is Isaiah 14, is it talking about Neo-Babylon? Circa 600 BCE, or is he talking about another Babylon, a future Babylon?
Which means there is truth in here, but the truth is conveyed through figurative language and literary devices. So when Deacon says, well, can that be hyperbolic language? Well, we got to see, is it in the narrative form, which would be literal, or is it in poetic?
This is how they train you in these seminaries. That's why do you think Vocab Malone says he uses the term not supersessionism, which is the same. Is the what does he say? Supersessionism is the word, technical word, but what's the word that he uses? Replacement theology. Yeah, when you go to Revelation 7. And you read about the 144,000, it's not talking about Israelites, it's talking about the body of believers that can be from every nation. That's called replacement theology. When you read about the Apostle Paul, when he speaks about Israel, he's talking about the body of believers, their spiritual Israel. So this is why you don't listen to these Christians. When you do enough research and find out about how these Christians roll, I'm talking about the scholars, you realize that these guys are just making this shit up.
Form where it can have some degree of literary devices or be figurative. Go to Obadiah chapter 1 and let's take a look at the structure in Obadiah chapter 1. Well, not here. Go to Bible Hub. It's not going to show it in Blue Letter.
Now, I don't know if he got the Bible Hub from me. You know, Nate did. I don't know. Well, he got the Blue Letter. The first person that's pushed the Blue Letter was myself. Yours truly, Apostle Tahar. The Spirit led me to the Blue Letter and the Bible Hub, which happened. I went to commentary. This was years ago. I don't know, 2010. I don't remember. I put in the scripture and I said commentary. Just see what the, a bunch of commentary sites came up, and the first one I saw was Hub, and I clicked on that one, and I just started using it. I found out that Bishop Nathaniel started using it too. He said, "Go to the Bible Hub." I said, "Wait a minute, brother. I believe he's going to the Bible Hub because he sees me go to it. You could have went to another commentary, and sometimes I do go to other commentaries, but I'm just familiar with the Bible Hub, so I don't know if Divine knew about it or he saw me use it. Oh, I got to start using it too. I don't know. It's not all that important. And it almost seems like they're learning again. The Hassad and the Car are learning. They found new teachers. It's almost like we got Dr. Divine Prospect, and he's going to teach us the right way. So, like I said, the Spirit, if you can't see that the Spirit left these dudes, and it started with the split, with the Sakari split. Even these former Sakari members that set up their own different camps or companies, because a camp of prophets is really, in the Old Testament, is referred to as a company. When Saul was with the prophets, the language in 1 Samuel was a company of prophets. So we say camp, but actually it's really a company of prophets. When you got 10 prophets walking and prophesying, that's a company of prophets. We say camps, just so you maybe have to change the name because you see these camps. Anyway, forgive me.
Okay, let's see the structure. Look at the structure. It starts first in verse 1, which would be a full-on sentence if they kept writing it in narrative form, but the structure changes to stanzas, and it's poetic.
So guess what? We really going off because it's all poetic. It's symbolic. Everything is symbolic. So Esau is really not going to. The evil of Esau is going to go away, but Esau is going to be here. Come on now. Hey, if it were possible, they would deceive the very elect. So if you're not of the elect, you're gonna get caught up in this confusion. You're gonna stumble over that stumbling block. And when you follow a false prophet, the Most High made you follow that false prophet. Teachers having itching ears.
So, and then you see where it says here, declares the Lord. Then it goes back to narrative, and then it jumps back in verse 5 all the way to poetic language, which means everything there is not literal. There's some figurative language. Hyperbole is part of figurative language. There's some literary devices, right, where you have analogies and metaphors. You have all types of stuff, word puns, all that type of stuff, parallelism. All these things will be found in here. Now, in verse 18,
he's using theological he's using theological language. He's using the stuff that they teach you in the let's get a deeper, okay, this is poetic. Now that means Esau really is not talking about Esau, it's talking about the wicked. Anytime you read about Esau and the Edomites, they're wicked, but it's not talking about the descendants of Edom. It's talking about the wickedness of Edom, which is separate from Edom. So Edom is going to be saved, and they're going to be righteous, and they're going to be equal to the Israelites. But the spirit is going to be taken out. And see, the spirit, it's a spiritual fire. It's a spiritual fire. It's not a real fire. And this is not even really talking about Jacob and Joseph. It's talking about the spirit. See, when you talk like that, fair words and fine speeches to deceive. Who is it going to deceive? The heart is simple. Do you think we're going to say, you know what? We were going off, Ak. Esau is going to make it. And they're going to be in the kingdom too. And some of them are going to be sitting on thrones with crowns on their head. If it was possible to deceive the very elect. So the ones of them that run over and follow these guys, leave them alone. Leave them alone.
it says the house of Jacob will be a blazing fire and the house of Joseph a burning flame, right? But the house of Esau will be stubble. Jacob will set it ablaze and consume it.
That's all spiritual, brother. The stubble is the after effect of the spirit leaving Esau, but Esau is going to be righteous. The Most High is going to take the wicked spirit of Esau and he's going to burn it up. And he's going to give Esau a righteous spirit. And we're actually Esau is going to turn into an Israelite. And Jacob's going to turn into an Edomite. Y'all get that?
Therefore, no survivor will remain from the house of Esau. So, the first part of verse 18, this is all analogies, right? Jacob will be a blazing fire. Joseph will be a burning flame. We know that we're not going to turn on fire and turn into the human torch, right?
Yeah, that's poetic. And the scriptures speak in a poetic way. In other words, we're going to get rid of them. We're going to get rid of them. We're going to exterminate them.
And they're going to hold him torch. You know what I'm saying? So we know that's figurative language. But the house of Esau will be stubborn.
From the beginning, did not, I read it, did not the Most High go to Samuel and tell Samuel go to Saul and tell King Saul to kill all the Amalekites? Is that poetic? No, he said the Amalekites attacked Israel, so I want them out, completely destroy them, destroy the cattle, their kids, everybody. Among the Midianites, just destroy the men, the married women, the boys, and let us save the little girls for yourself. That's what Moses said, and which brothers don't even know that scripture exists. Numbers 31. We killed everything among the Midianites. We killed everything among the Midianites. Some escaped, of course, because you still got Midianites. I believe. I'll just say it that way. Kill all the men, all the women that are married, all the boys, and save the little girls for yourself. Why do you think he said? As a matter of fact, I'm gonna ask that to the chat. I'm gonna ask why. Because they're gonna be concubines, and we're gonna pop these little girls when they grow up. Let me rephrase that. We're gonna pop these young women when they reach that age. When they're 12, 13 years old, and we're gonna have babies by them. Gad used to do that. When Gad used to take Edomite they used to kill the Edomite men among Esau, and they used to take their women and they used to pop the women and have babies with them. And guess what? The Edomite women would fall in love with a lot of those Gadites, man. All of them, and they would speak Gad. They show you that in the movie Dances with Wolves. You know, she was speaking the Gadite language. I was gonna go somewhere, but you know what? Let me see something. Yeah, let me do this. Changing gears. Mind you, everything that this divine prospect is saying, he sounds like an apologist. He sounds like he was trained in a theological seminary. Okay, let me see. Where am I going to go? Okay, let me see. Numbers 31. That's what I want. Numbers 31. Let me just see what the chat has to say. Not that we believe in everything. Well, see, you can't be followed. We don't follow the chat. We just said, let's see what Google has to say about this. Let's see what chat has to say about this. Let's see what the Bible Hub has to say about this. Oh, they're right on point. They agree with us. Oh, they went off. Okay, give me a second. Okay, right here, 7th verse. And they warred against the Midianites. And by the way, Balaam was a part of these people. He got killed. It mentions his death. Remember, he prayed that if he died and he come back, that he'll come back as an Israelite. Let me see. Because he saw us in the kingdom. And he even saw us in the kingdom. It says, and they warred against the Midianites as Yahweh commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. And here's the list. Balaam was one of them. Balaam also the son of Beor. That's the Balaam that went to the king of Moab, Balak, and told him, look, this is what these people are going to do at the end of the world. That's why I pray that I die and come back as an Israelite. Well, guess what? If you born an Edomite, you're going to come back an Edomite forever. And so this is the Yahweh talking to Moses and telling Moses to tell the men, the Israelite men that are warring against the Midianites to kill all the males. Right? It says, and the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones. Their little ones are the boys, and took the spoil of all their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods, and they burnt all their cities. That's why ultimately that burning, when you burn something down, that means it ain't coming back. That's symbolic for it ain't coming back, but that's actually what they did. So guess what? When the Most High burns something down, that means, did Sodom and Gomorrah ever come back? Is that a tourist attraction? I don't know. I got to do some research on it. But it ain't like the Las Vegas of the Middle East. So the same thing with Babylon the Great. When the fire hits Babylon the Great, it ain't coming back no more. That's what it represents. And they burned all their cities therein, wherein they dwelt, and all their goodly cattle with fire. So they even burnt the cattle. And they took all the spoil and the prey, both of men and beasts, and they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, which is the son of Aaron, who was the high priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, the sons of Israel, unto the camp of the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth, angry with the officers of the host, with the captains over thousands, and captains over hundreds, and captains, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? Behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam, which he got put to death. Read up above, was that the 6th verse? I think it is. Read up above that. To commit trespass against Yahweh in the matter of Peor. Peor is what? Baal Peor. Baal Peor is a god that they worship through sex. So Jake was like popping these women, but they said, you got to pray Peor. You got to, we got to do it in the name of Peor. Okay. You go with, yeah, baby, anything. Yeah. I want to just get that sex. And there was a plague among the congregation of Yahweh, because these men were popping these women that were married. So watch what Moses is going to come back and say. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that have known men by lying with them. Because those women that were married, when they got married in the name of Baal Peor. So when they were having sex in the name of Baal Peor. It's a sexual ritual. And like P. Diddy, right? They would have sex for three days straight. Who the hell want to have sex for 3 days straight? That was a ritual. And probably to Baal Peor, because they believe in them ancient gods. Esau worshiped these gods on the left-hand side, which are ancient gods from Canaan and Assyria. Among the Midian. Remember, they worship these demons. So it says, let me see. Now, therefore, kill every male among the little ones, meaning the boys, and kill every woman that have known man by lying with him, meaning married. But all the women children that have not known a man by, it could be 8-year-olds, could be 7-year-olds, could be 6 years old. That means you raise them up until they turn 12, 13 years old. You raise them up, and then you deal with them. It says, by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. Why did they say that? So kill all the males, kill all the women that are married, kill all the boy babies, but save the little girls for yourself. Let's look this up. Let's look this up in the chat. Then I'm gonna get ready to close. I didn't want to make this long, but it's long. But that's how the Spirit works. So you can forget Hassad and the car. They ain't coming back. They done. They're not gonna make it. They're gonna probably take the chip. They're gonna probably get a lot of people to take that chip, and they're gonna die here in America. So it behooves them to hop on a plane and get out of America. You go to a neutral country, you'll be good, but then we'll get you in the wilderness. You're gonna get got through the Spirit. There's no way they can come back. They can't ask for forgiveness. There's no way they can come back. They're done. They've been made manifest pursuant to First John, the 2nd chapter, the 19th verse. Okay, let me put down meaning. Let's see what happens. Then we'll put down GMS take. Okay, often cited in discussion of difficult passages, says in most English translations that the Israelites were instructed to spare the young girls who had not been sexually involved during the conflict with Midian. What does it mean in context? Here are the key points scholars usually emphasize. As scholars, Christian scholars, are hit or miss. Historical setting. This verse comes from an ancient war narrative in the Hebrew Bible. Now, there's laws in the Bible of you taking down a nation, and you taking there, you see a pretty woman, you said, that's going to be my wife. That's going to be my concubine. Wife, just the Hebrew word ayasha is the word wife. When you come across the word wife, the Hebrew word there is ayasha, which means woman. So you got your actual wives, which were the Israelite women. Then you had your concubines, which were women of other nations. King Saul had concubines, 300 of them to be exact. King David had concubines. These different great Israelites that had multiple women, some of them were concubines, which were of other nations. You don't take an Israelite woman and make her a concubine. Ruth became a concubine. It says this verse comes from an ancient and war narrative in the Hebrew Bible. It reflects ancient Near East warfare. It reflects ancient Near Eastern warfare customs. That's why Captain Zaryak got all emotional. They also you gonna take that mark? You believe you gonna not take that mark? You believe that there's an actual mark? Well, you can rape women too. The ancient world was different from the modern world, man. Do y'all know in Israel there were certain laws that you broke that you didn't get put to death, but you got whipped. They whip you in front of everybody. You know, whip you with a whip, you know? Which were very different from modern moral and legal standards. So you guys, you think in the modern world, you don't think in the ancient world. You don't put your mind in the mind of a man that lived 3,000 years, 4,000 years ago. It was completely different. women had limited rights. It says the chapter describes Israel's conflict with Midian after early events where Midianite leaders led Israel into idolatry. See Numbers 25. Oh yeah, Numbers 25. I believe that's the 8th verse. That's when an Israelite man had a Midianite woman in the tent, and he was popping her. And I believe it was Aaron's son that took a javelin and put it through both of them. Why? Because he was having sex in the name of BLPR. Not because he was having sex with another nation's woman. So let's kill him. Well, wait a minute. That would mean you would have to kill Moses because he had a woman of another nation. So he ain't talking about that. He was having sex with the woman in the name of BLPR. She was a temple prostitute. It says why this instruction appears. In the study, adult Midianite women were associated with a previous religious betrayal. They were worshiping BLPR. So he said, kill them because they're going to get your mind believing in that. We want to kill that religion. It says the text portrays the spared girls as not involved in that event because they were little kids, 6-year-old, 8-year-old, 9-year-old, which is why they were treated differently in the narrative. You know, somebody raised up as a Christian, it's hard to get them out of Christianity. You raise up as a Muslim, these Arabs really believe Allah gonna come and save them. But they get fucked up by Esau all day, every day. Because Allah. Where's Allah at? Because they didn't know Allah. It says what the verse does, not what the verse does not necessarily mean. The verse is descriptive, not necessarily prescriptive for all times. That's right, modern day. Many Jewish and Christian interpreters stress that it does not imply approval of abuse or exploitation. Okay. No, I want my mommy. No, your mommy's dead. Oh no, what am I going to do now? Well, you're 8 years old. In about 4 years, you'll be my wife. A lot of Israelites came from your foreparents. Goes back to your foremothers. A lot of them were heathens. Okay, that's why we look like everybody. There's really no one phenotype for Israelites. We look like everybody. It says a latter biblical law strongly condemns sexual violence, showing tension between this narrative and broader biblical ethics. In other words, Esau said we shouldn't be doing that. The Bible was wrong. How religious traditions interpret it. Jewish commentators often frame it as historically limited command tied to specific crises. Christian theologians frequently read it through the lens of a progressive revelation, meaning the ethical understanding develops across the Bible and the culminates in teachings above love, dignity, and just. Well, back then they did it. We can't do that now, which is true. You get thrown under the jail. But in the ancient world, they did that. They saw the wood. Oh, that's a pretty woman. Let me take her. Oh, that's a little girl. Let me take her. Oh, she's 8 years old. You find out she's 8 years old. You know you're gonna set her up for 3 years, and when she 3-4 years, when she's developed, you're gonna go into her whether she likes it or not, and have babies, have Israelite babies, and that's gonna happen I see no reason why it shouldn't happen in the kingdom. You can bring back the nation with any nation of women. Let's say we only have Edomite women. Guess what? You can bring back the nation with Edomite women or Moabites. Some modern scholars view the passage as a reflection of how ancient communities tried to explain survival and identity rather than a model to imitate. No, we shouldn't be doing it. See, they were doing it back then. Why this verse is controversial? It raises hard moral questions because it reflects ancient war practices. Part of ancient war practices was booty, was spoils, and part of the spoils were women, preferably young women, even 9, 10 years old. But you can't touch them because you kill them. You know, Jake was bigger back then, so you had to wait until they were fully developed and they became women. And you train, and when they've been in your house for X amount of years, they're gonna start speaking Hebrew. Like I said, Gad used to do that, man. One of the greatest Gadite warriors was a man named Quanah Parker. His mother was an Edomite. Gadite captured her and popped her, and she loved her son, and he was a great warrior. Look him up, Quanah Parker. It said most modern readers, religious agree that this verse should not be taken as a moral example for today. Exactly. So when Captain says you don't gotta be raping girl, we don't be raping nothing. We don't be raping nothing, man. We said that's how it's done in the ancient world, and in the kingdom to come, we're going to do what we want to do with these other nations. Well, they're women, you know. We're gonna have our way with them, but rather studied critically within its historical and literary context. If you want, let me do this. You know what I'm going to ask? What's the GMS Israelites take on this subject? Did I write subject right? Yes, I did. Okay, let's see what happens. Taking a while because they got to gather that information. The GMS Great Millstone Israelites approach Numbers 31:18 very differently from mainstream Jewish or Christian interpreters. Below is a neutral descriptive summary of how that camp generally teaches the passage, not an endorsement, just an explanation of their view. Let's see what they say. Give me a second here. Get some water. Okay, literal and nation-based reading. GMS teachers read the passage very literally. Of course it was literal. It wasn't spiritual. See, that was spiritual. They didn't really kill the boys. They just killed the spirit out of the boys and the men, and they saved the men. And, they were cool with... No. Read the scriptures, man. Don't get your panties all in a bunch. Stop being so goddamn feminine and weak. GMS teachers read the passage very literal, because it is literal. And through a strong Israel versus the nations framework, they teach that command applied specifically to ancient Israel dealing with a hostile nation, Midian. They emphasize that this was Yahweh's judgment, not human initiative. Divine command overrides modern moral frameworks. GMS commonly argues that what the Most High commands in righteousness, by definition, even if it conflicts with modern ethics, human moral standards, because they said that you know what's moral. You can be a happy person. Two men can get together. A man can change his plumbing. That's moral. To them, that's moral. It says, "Woe to them." What did it say? That how's it going? Isaiah turneth. They call good evil and evil good. They call bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Darkness for light and light for darkness. They switch everything around. It says a human moral, and it says human moral standards are seen as corrupt or subjective, while biblical commands are viewed as absolute. Of course. Give me a second. From this view, questioning the morality of the command is often framed as questioning the Most High's authority. Right, that's what you're doing. Understanding of the spared girls. GMS teachers usually says they spared young girls were not involved in the prior sin. Right, Numbers 25. They were taken as servants or future wives. And both, they were servants and wives. They cooked and cleaned. They did what they had to do. They did their chores. And at night, you would pop them and have babies with them. Under Israelite law, it says they often cite other Torah laws to argue that Israelite men were restricted by rules, not allowed to act lawlessly. Yeah, in the case of Deuteronomy 21:10. They said they reject the idea that the verse promotes random or uncontrolled abuse. Right, because there's an order to things. Arguing instead that it functioned within their understanding of the Mosaic law. Now, Esau talks about Sharia law. Sharia law is similar to Mosaic law. If a man and a woman got together and a woman were married, you put them to death, summarily put them to death on the spot. Two men making love, you kill them. You don't arrest them and try to get them to come around or say they have their rights. That's why this place is going to be burnt up by fire. This motherfucker's done. It's gone. It's done. This place is done. I'll be surprised if we go to 2000. We may go to 2007, but I'll be surprised if we go to 2007. Everything's moving quick. Anyway, nations opposing Israel are subject to divine judgment. Numbers 31 is used as an example of how the Most High historically dealt with Israel's enemies and how he will do so again. And there you go, how he would do so again in the future. Though they usually frame future judgment as the Most High's actions, not something individuals are authorized to carry out on their own. Right, if you go ahead and do that, young brother, the elders told me I can do it. We didn't tell you shit, brother. Boy, I did. Could you give me bail? I said, no, we ain't got no bail money for you. You don't have to deal with it. So don't do nothing stupid. Five, not a model for personal behavior today. Right, of course. Of course you don't do it. If you did something like that, you would be stupid. What happened to Nature Boy? He was doing that crazy shit. Talking about he would have sex in front of with his woman and have his son sitting there with his ride out. That nigga do belong under the jail. And them stupid, boneheaded women, sisters, were following, and then a bunch of Edomite dudes, weak-ass, punk-ass Edomite white boys following them too. And stupid-ass black women. Well, GMS rhetoric, which means speak, talk, can sound harsh. They generally teach that these commands were not instructions for modern individuals to imitate right now. Did you hear that, Captain Desire? See, them guys be raping women. Them fucking Nate that big ugly nigga Nate, them guys and wives, where they swap their wives. We can sue you on that shit. We can sue you on that. We're swapping wives. You deliberately lied in front of your congregation, and then at the same time you said keep the laws, keep the laws. But bearing false witness, you can do that. Watch what Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua is going to do to all these different groups. These new niggas, Hassad and the car, they done. They done. They are done. They are done. Judgment is expected to come through divine intervention when the kingdom comes, not vigilante action. Take the law in your own hands. That's why if a guy does something stupid, the guy went off. We never taught him that. Or they'll say GMS. The guy. No. We didn't do that. Even that clown fucking vocab said that. Yeah, a guy, he killed the woman, and he killed the little son, and he dealing with 4 women at the same time, and he's part of GMS. And we said, no, that nigga wasn't part of GMS. Vocab was forced to apologize. You know? It says, key differences from mainstream interpretation, mainstream Jewish Christian views, emphasize historical context, ethical development, and attention within Scripture. GMS views emphasizes obedience, hierarchy of nations, and divine authority with little focus on moral discomfort. Right, of course it's considered, you said it is immoral. Back then it was moral. You know? You know what I'm going to do? Break down here GMS sermon usually framed. Explain why this critics say interpretation is dangerous. Of course it is. If you did it now, you're stupid. Compare GMS view with other Hebrew Israelite camps. So let's try that one. Oh, we're having fun now. Let's go. Below is a neutral comparison. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, GMS core traits, extreme literal reading, strong Israel versus the nation's framework, emphasis on divine judgment and hierarchy, harsh rhetoric, especially toward non-Israelites. Okay, let's come on down here. Okay, ISBK, course traits, structure, hierarchy, teaching system, still literal, but not legalistic and instructional, emphasizing discipline and order. On Numbers 31:18, similar to GMS in seeing it as divine judgment, more likely to emphasize laws governing captives rather than raw judgment, focuses on how Israelites' law regulated behavior. Less inflammatory rhetoric, more focus on law and procedure than shock value. And we ain't doing it for shock value, okay? IUIC, more public facing and moderate, focus on repentance, community building, and identity, careful with controversial passages in outreach. Numbers 31 and 18. IUIC's take, often de-emphasized or explained briefly, framed as a historical wartime judgment, which we agree, it was a wartime judgment. When we take these nations down, it's going to be war. They're going to be, in the kingdom, they're going to be prisoners of us. Not a teaching focus, strongly avoid using it to justify present-day hostility. Key differences from GMS. avoids extreme literalism in application, stresses that judgment belongs to the Most High, not people today, which I agree. Okay, GOCC, Sakari, moderate camps, less centralized, sometimes mixed literal and symbolic reading, focus more on heritage, history, and self-improvement, treated as ancient history, often acknowledged as morally difficult. Some openly say it reflects the time period rather than eternal instruction. Right, and that time period is coming back in the kingdom when this man is taking over. When we take them nations over, we're going to be taking women too. Key differences from GMS: willing to admit moral tensions, less emphasis on dominance or punishment narrative. No, we're going to dominate them and punish them in the kingdom. One West influence, but reform learning camps. Some groups trace roots to One West, but reject its extremes. Numbers 31 and 18 again, interpreted through context, allegory, or limitations, sometimes compared to other ancient war texts. Explicit rejection of using it to justify harm or superiority. Summary: camp, GMS, very high, literal. Emphasis, judgment, very high. Allows moral tensions. No. ISUBK, high, minimal. Moderate, some. Mix, low, moderate. Give you a lot of information here. It says, explain why mainstream critics focus especially on GMS, because we're the number one camp, the camp of the true prophets. GMS is the most extreme in tone and absolutism. Other Israelite camps increasingly limit application to history, avoid emphasizing violent passages, acknowledge ethical complexity. Anyway, with that, I'm going to say shalom. On to the next.